How's it going? Welcome back to Sinister Customs. So a question I hear a lot is what micro servo is the best? Well, two names that definitely come up, Mofo RC and NSDRC. And I just so happened to pick up this RS100 from my local hobby shop and thought I'd give it a test. The specs definitely match up, so there we go for the specs on the RS100. And I'll be running it against the Mofo Servo Beast. This is the brass version, one of the first batches that were made, so I've had this one for a little while, and it's definitely had a rough life, but there are the specs on that. Looks like 158 compared to 190, I think 7, something like that. And then pricing, of course, both the Mofos come with the mount and the horn. There's the NSDRC with and without the mount, so pretty well price compared, pretty well power compared. Let's see how they actually perform. A little shake test. Let's see if it can lift that 950 grams of pure notoriousness. Oh, it started out pretty good, but looks like after it got past that center point, it was just dead in the hole. It didn't want to go anymore. But if I can keep it past that center point, or above that center point anyway, it can lift itself. And then it died in the hole again. All in all though, not a bad servo. I mean, it'll definitely get you out of a bind. So, but let's see what that Mofo does. Here is the Mofo Servo Beast. A little shaky shake. Definitely seems a little faster. And you also got to remember, this is a pretty extensive test, not something you'd normally put your servo through. But let's see. So the Servo Beast is going past center, and I mean, you can see it's struggling. It's definitely lifting its own weight. That's 950 grams. Of course, it's not lifting all of that, because some of that's on the front servo, or front axle there. But it's still quite a feat. I mean, you see it just wants to rip it out of my hands. Well, let's not break it. But yeah, I definitely think the Servo Beast has it over the NSDRC for sure. I was testing both these servos on 8.4 volts from a Dinky RC ESC, running 4S with 2 palm power, 300 mAh, 2S lipos. Alright, so I know it was a pretty rough test, not very accurate, anything like that, but that's not really what I'm about. I'm just about pushing the limits and seeing how much something can take. And RS100, I mean, it took it. It just couldn't quite power through it, but it's still working just fine. So, all in all, it's an alright servo. That brass Servo Beast, even the aluminum one, it's just a different case. That's where it's at in my opinion. The black label, I'll test it out next. I know for a fact it doesn't have the power to do what the Servo Beast does, but it's still up there. So I'll see if it's comparable to the NSDRC, see where the range is there. But probably in a different rig. I don't think Notorious is the rig to test those out on. But yeah, that should be a different video, is testing those out and seeing how they do. And in all honesty, in most cases, you're not going to need that much power. I mean, Notorious does, but most comp rigs, that kind of thing, they're not going to have the weight. They're not going to need that. A black label or the NSD will do you just fine in most cases. The black label is substantially cheaper, but that's up to you, whatever you want to run. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.